Hello and welcome to today's yoga teachings. In this session we're focusing on what's known as Mula Bandha, or the root lock. Mula literally means root or base or original cause, and Bandha is lock. And if you haven't watched our introduction to bandhas yet, I highly recommend you go back and check out that video because it gives you a greater in-depth description of what all the bandhas are about. And once you've seen that, come back to this and understand how to move into our first bandha practice, the root lock. Now this root lock is an activation of the muscles in the pelvic floor. And when we do this, we're bringing energy to our root chakra at the base of the spine in the area of the perineum. And this energy center is what connects us to the energy of the earth. And thank God we have this connection because it gives us our vitality. It's literally the battery of our being. And this is what takes us not just through yoga practice, but through everything in life. So in order to really be a yogi or to be a powerful human being, we need to have a strong connection to the earth energy for the vitality that the mother feeds us with. And this particular practice draws the energy from the earth right into our battery. And that battery, or the energy center at the base of the spine, feeds all of the other chakras, feeds all of the energy centers. That's why they call this the master key. Muladhara chakra is the energy center that is the master key. It's the source of our life. So when we learn how to work with this particular lock, we bring more energy there. We bring balance, we bring healing, purification. And it's very important not only for energy, but it also has to do with our emotions and our mind. So it's all another one of these practices that has so many benefits, as do most of the yoga practices. When we do the physical contraction, we're actually lifting the muscles of the pelvic floor. That means we lift the genitals, the perineum, that space between the genitals and the anus. So we're lifting that whole muscular structure at the pelvic floor. Each time we lift it up, we start to contract those muscles and we bring more energy to that energy center. And as we do this, we also change the flow of energy from continually going down, and we can stop it there, and we can draw the energy from the earth up, and we can even choose to send the energy up into the higher chakras with this particular practice. This idea and this technique of sending the energy up is called sublimation. And this is one of the most important aspects of our Tantra yoga practice. Moving the energy from the lower chakras to illuminate and set these lotuses, as is the analogy, the blooming flowers, the opening of the Padma, the lotus, so that each level of our being, each level of our consciousness, our energy, our body, our emotions, and our mind can be totally fulfilled through just this one practice by sending the energy into the higher chakras. Not only that, it's also very important for the tantric sexuality practices because it helps men to learn to control their ejaculation. It gives them longer erections that last for longer periods of time and stronger erections. It helps to deal with prostate cancer, and it helps to heal with anything in the urogenital system for men and for women. For women, it's very powerful. It leads to more potent, extraordinary, explosive, and expansive orgasms. And all of this will come into play more when we talk about tantric sexuality in a future video. So we'll get back to that point later, but just know that this particular technique works for the physical body, all the things I just mentioned about the urogenital system. It works for the energy in terms of connecting to the vitality of the earth, and it even helps to balance the emotions. You'll feel a sense of well-being after finishing this practice, and it deals with the mental state. What we're doing when we do this practice is actually activating the parasympathetic nervous system, and that's the aspect of the nervous system that helps us to relax. So as we do this, we're relaxing the body, the emotions, and the mind. Okay, the holistic practice. Now, how do we actually do this? It's quite simple. We're going to tie it to the breath to make it simple, or to make it more understandable. As you inhale, you lift the genitals, the perineum, and the anus. It's like you're pulling them up to the top of the head as you inhale. And as you exhale, you let that whole muscular structure relax. Extremely important to let the muscles relax. We don't want to create tension. This is about calming the parasympathetic nervous system. So each time we inhale, lift, and exhale, relax. And the beauty of this practice is you can do it any time of the day, anywhere. You don't have to go to a yoga class or even sit on a yoga mat. You can do it while you're reading a book, while you're sitting in the train or on the bus, while you're in the line at the bank and nobody knows you're doing it. Now, obviously, I can't check and make sure you're doing it right, but you need to just understand that one way to help feel if you're doing it right is if you place a tennis ball or your heel right in the perineum, and each time you lift, you can feel the muscles. You're bringing awareness to that muscular structure by placing the heel of your foot or a tennis ball or something like a rolled up sock right there, so you know where that place is. And as you lift, you feel a sense of the energy rising. And as you exhale, let everything relax. So we'll do a couple rounds with the breath and simply come into a seated position, the spine straight. You don't have to cross the legs, but that is beneficial for the energy flow. If it's not comfortable for you, you can sit in a chair and place your feet on the floor. So whichever way you come into seated position, let's bring the first finger and thumb together because this helps to create an energy circuit for balance in the body and mind. And we can relax the hands right down on top of the legs. Now we'll close the eyes and take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth to relax. Let's do that one more time. Deep breath in through the nose and through the mouth, side out, release. Now you bring your awareness to the base of the spine in the perineum. And as the next inhale comes in through the nose, lift those muscles of the pelvic floor, lifting the genitals, the perineum, and the anus up towards the top of the head. And as you exhale, let everything relax. Now we're breathing out through the nose during this practice. Next inhale through the nose, lift genitals, perineum, and anus, pulling up. And as you exhale through the nose, letting everything relax. And we'll do this a few times. Find your own rhythm, your own pace. Just remember, inhale to lift, and exhale, complete relaxation, letting the muscles sink back down. Try a few rounds in your own time, your own rhythm, and I'll add a few more steps to the practice in just a moment. So let's give it a try on our own. The rest of the body is relaxed. Maybe as a beginner, you're tensing the buttocks, the muscles of the buttocks. That's okay. Eventually, you learn to isolate just the pelvic floor. But if the buttocks are getting tense, that's okay in the beginning. Just start the practice, and over time, you get more and more skillful at this technique. Now we're going to add the second step of our practice. As you inhale, lift all those muscles, fill the lungs, and then hold the breath in the lungs and hold the muscles lifted for a count of 5. This is bringing more strength to these muscles. When you're done counting to 5, you exhale through the nose and let everything relax. And then we'll do that several times. Inhale, fill the lungs, hold the breath in the lungs, and as you count to 5, you keep those muscles of the pelvic floor lifted. If you're new to this practice, it may be a little challenging. It's like you haven't worked out these muscles for a while and it's the first time, you get tired more quickly. But this is a muscle group that develops very quickly. So in a few days, you'll notice a big change in how you feel down there. And the good thing is it can even create very pleasurable sensations and a calm state of mind. So let's try a few rounds with the count. Let's bring the awareness back down. And as you inhale now through the nose, lift everything up, genitals, perineum, and anus. Fill the lungs, hold the breath in, and keep those muscles lifted for a count of 5. And as you exhale through the nose, let everything relax. We'll do it a few more times. Inhale, lift the muscles, fill the lungs, hold the lungs full of breath, and keep the muscles lifted for a count of 5. Through the nose, we exhale, let everything relax. Last 2 rounds. Inhale through the nose, fill the lungs, lift the perineum, the genitals, and the anus. Hold the muscles lifted, hold the breath in the lungs for 5. Through the nose, we exhale, let everything relax. And finally, one more. Inhale, lift. Hold the breath, lungs full, hold the muscles lifted for 5. After 5, breathe through the nose, let everything relax. Now keep the eyes closed for a moment, let go of the practice, and just observe what's happening down in the pelvic floor. Perhaps you feel a gentle vibration. It's even possible to feel a sense of heat down at the base of the spine in the pelvic floor. Very often, people report feeling pleasurable sensations. You're activating the energy in the urogenital system as well, because when you lift the genitals, you're sending energy into the genitals. Okay, last stage of our practice, instead of holding for 5, we're going to hold for 10. Now, if 10 is too much for you, just go back to 5. And if 5 is too much for you, just inhale and exhale. Inhale, lift, exhale, release. But let's do a few rounds with 10, and we'll close our practice at the end of this. So let's bring the awareness back down to the base of the spine in the perineum, genitals, and anus. And as you inhale, lift everything up, fill the lungs, hold the breath in, hold the muscles lifted for a count of 10. Exhaling through the nose, let everything relax. We'll do 3 rounds. Inhale. Pull the muscles up, fill the lungs, hold the breath in the lungs, hold the muscles lifted for a count of 10. The rest of the body's relaxed. It's okay if the buttocks are a little bit involved as they begin. Exhale through the nose, let everything soften and relax completely. Final round, inhaling to lift the genitals, perineum, and anus. Hold the breath in the lungs and hold the muscles lifted for 10. Then exhale to release. Keeping the eyes closed for a moment, simply observing once again the effects, becoming aware of the benefits of the practice. Gentle vibration, a sense of heat, even pleasurable sensations are all possible. Good, now let's open our eyes. And the last few things to remind you about is that you want to develop this as slowly over time. There's no rush. You may even feel a little bit of muscular tiredness tomorrow in that area, but we practice this every day. Maybe you start with 5 rounds today, and in a week you can do 10 rounds. In 2 weeks you can do 20 rounds. So develop your practice day by day and add more rounds. And eventually you can start to lift this and hold it while you breathe, and you keep those muscles lifted. The longer you can hold this, the more mastery you gain over this muscular structure, and the more energy you bring into the root, which again, all those benefits are there. And the only way you'll know any of this is if you do it. So as we say in yoga, you are the laboratory, the scientist, the experiment, and the results. So get off your chair or get into your seat, whatever works for you, and give it a try. Because once you try it, you'll start to feel the benefits. And this is something that we do every single day as a yogi, and especially as a tantric yogi, for all the benefits that I've talked about. And I wish you all the best in your journey. If you have any questions, send them to us and we'll answer them in time. And make sure you go back and watch that introduction to the Bandha practice to understand more depth of how this works. So all the best to you.